Hey, Regina here with Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut. I'm an intuitive tarot reader and a student astrologer, and I call myself a student astrologer because I do think that it takes a lifetime to learn all about astrology, to watch and observe it. I'm just a few years in, and so I'd like to share what I see with you and we can learn together. I also like to look at astrology from a really practical everyday outlook on how we can make the most of the energies available. There's a lot, you can get really into astrology and get down to every degree of every planet. And my intention here is to help you to use this just to better your everyday life. Now, I would like if you would listen to my whole video, but if you don't have time and you want to skip ahead to the tarot readings, it is timestamped below, so you can go ahead and pick your pile. But I do encourage you to listen to the opening because it's going to be talking about what's going on in the month of July, which will play into the card reading also. So I'm here to talk to you about the month of July. And I'm really excited about the month of July because it's Cancer season, and later in the month the sun will move into the sign of Leo. Now, I am a Cancer rising, so maybe that's part of why I am so excited about it. But as we know, Cancer is a water sign. It owns the fourth house in astrology, the house of the home, the house of intuition, the house of safety and security. I think of the fourth house, which is owned by the moon, right? So the moon in astrology is considered a planet, and every sign is ruled by a planet. And so Cancer is ruled, it's the only sign that's ruled by the moon. And so we think about the moon as this really feminine planet. And it's interesting to me that there's only really two feminine planets. You have Venus and the moon. And we have a lot of Venus activity going on this month because Venus is going to go into its retrograde. So we're going to talk about that too. It's also summer. And so hopefully we'll be swimming and enjoying and relaxing and recharging during these times. So the moon, this intuition, this pull, right? And we think about, when we do these astrology reports, when I do these, I'm always looking at where is the moon currently, because we know it affects us so much. We know that its cycles affect us. And so when we have Cancer season ruled by the moon, we know that our intuition is going to be high. We know that this is a great time for nurturing ourselves, for looking at what makes us feel safe and secure, what makes us feel loved, which makes us feel like warm and cuddly. Sometimes I think of Cancer as a blanket. A mom putting a blanket on a baby is kind of an expression of Cancer. So let's talk about this month of July. Well, I want to do things a little bit differently this week or this month. And I'd like to pull a few tarot cards in the beginning to talk about some themes for July in general, and then I will go into individual pick-a-pile readings so that you can get more in depth. Let's start off just talking about the month as a whole. Now, it's a lot of information. Don't worry, this will be broken up into smaller videos later and reposted so that you can absorb it as each week comes up, okay? We're gonna start off the month right away on the 3rd of July. We have a full moon in Capricorn. So interesting, Cancer, the fourth house is related to the nurturing parent. And the full moon is always in the opposite house. And we have Capricorn, which is thought of as more of the disciplinarian parent, often the house of the father. So we've got this mother-father thing going on, two extremes, right? And so full Capricorn moon, really going to keep us grounded, really think about what it is that what our goals are, what we're looking to do, what the bigger picture is. It's about our roots and kind of about that like go get it energy. And then Cancer, they are saying, but how do you nurture so that you have the energy to go get the things that you want? Okay, so there's a lot there about balance. Now, we're going to have some planets move this month. We have Mars leaving the sign of Leo, heading into Virgo mid-month. We have Mars is the planet of action, how we get things done. So we're definitely, as it moves into Virgo, Virgo likes to be precise and detailed and put things in order. So as Mars moves into Virgo around the 10th of July, I was kind of looking at it like, I think of summer as a great time to goof off, right? To try to every minute of the sun and the beautiful weather, to savor it as we can, right? We're going to be enjoying the fruits, the literal fruits that are in season. We're expanding our diet. Hopefully we're eating more of the local produce that's being produced in our areas. We may be spending more time with family, and we may be doing a lot of cooking. These are all Cancer related, Cancer Capricorn themes. We may have traditions, Capricorn, of what we do, how we spend our time, how we vacation. We may be eating more fluidy fruit, water, fluids, alcohol, all those kind of things. And so when I think about Mars to Virgo, Virgo is like more about efficiency and precision and routines and habits and diet. So as we get Mars to Virgo, we can start to think about how we want to change things when fall comes, or how, even over the summer, if that's when you want to make those changes. But sometimes, personally, I can feel so in the moment of having the fun in the summer and just doing whatever it is I want to do. But with Mars and Virgo there, we know that we can start thinking about the actions that we're going to take a little bit later, especially as we move into Virgo season. So an example of that would be maybe your schedule's a little looser now that children are out of school and maybe you're taking your summer vacation, but that this fall you want to make some dietary changes. You want to include more exercise into your life. Those are the kind of things that are very Virgo related, okay? So this Virgo energy kind of keeping us grounded, so to speak, because it's so easy to be lost in the fluidy, watery Cancer season. Okay, now the planet Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to leave the sign of Cancer and head into the sign of Leo on the 11th of July. The sun is actually going to enter the sign of Leo on the 22nd, just a few days after our new moon in Cancer. So the new moon in Cancer on the 17th, quite a watery time. Interesting, I noticed with the full moon and the new moon, there's a lot of kind of flowing energy, not so much squares, more trines, more easy flowing energy, which is really a nice bonus. We'll have Venus retrograde begin on July 23rd. I'm going to talk more about that. And Mercury, the planet of communication, will move to Virgo by the end of the month. Okay, Mercury makes a pretty quick move there into the sign of Virgo. So we're going to want to be talking to ourselves kindly. Not a lot of air energy this month, not a lot of planets in air signs, except I've been learning a little bit about some of the new planets, or the tiny planets as they're called, that have been discovered more recently in the 2000s ranges. And one of them is called Maki Maki and one is called Haumea. And they are said to be very feminine planets. And wasn't I just saying that we only have 2 feminine planets? And interesting, as they have been discovered, they're considered to be planets, very humanitarian planets, very calm and grounded feminine energy. And it's interesting that that is now being discovered, and now we can start to acknowledge that. I'm just starting to learn about them, so I'll share the little that I know, but they are both in the sign of Libra right now, an air sign. So we do actually have some planets in air signs. We just need to get to know them a little bit better. So let's talk about Venus retrograde, okay? So we are going to have a lot of planets retrograde really soon. We already have, pretty much, the bottom line is pretty much every planet is going to be retrograded except Mars by September. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. So we're going to get some different perspective on things. We're going to get to see kind of some of the opposites of what's going on. We're going to be able to figure some things out. We're going to be able to see things a little differently, and that's a good thing. So we're talking about Venus, and on July 23rd, it's going to be at 28 degrees Leo, and it's going to begin its backwards move, and it's going to move back to 12 degrees and 12 seconds, interesting number, considered a master number for higher states of consciousness. It's going to move to 12 degrees and 12 seconds of Leo on September 3rd, when it will go direct again. Okay, so what does that mean? What does it mean? Well, what does Venus rule? Venus rules women. Venus rules relationships, especially relationships with women, but all relationships. Venus rules value. Some people just skip right over to money. Venus rules anything of the aesthetics, right? So like hair and nails and clothing and jewelry and wallets, all of those kind of things, okay? So might not be the best time to be shopping for those things. Might not be the best time to be getting a bold new haircut. So these things are going to start to come up. We're going to start to see some interesting things come up. Now, that's why I want you to take note. I want you to start taking note, because when Venus reaches the 12 degrees and 12 seconds of Leo, it's going to be at the same point that it was back on June 20th. So you really want to take into account what's been going on since June 20th, especially in your relationships, or your relationship with money, or the relationship with yourself and your own self-respect. So these are the things that are going to start to show themselves, okay? So more awareness is key. Now, this is not to be afraid of. If you go online and you look things up, a lot of times they call it the breakup period, okay? But what it really is about really seeing what truly is important to you. And Leo, if anybody knows what's important to them, it's a Leo, okay? So with Venus in this fiery, heart-centered, expressive sign of Leo, we're going to be able to listen to our heart and see what our heart's saying. Because sometimes we're just listening to our mind. Sometimes we're not really listening to what we truly want and need, okay? So pay attention, take notes, observe, and don't be afraid. Just go for it and learn from it. Now, would I advise you to buy a really costly piece of jewelry? Probably not. Would I say to make a great investment financially? Maybe not. But I would say, you know, I own a store and I buy jewelry all the time. Am I going to stop buying jewelry? No. But am I going to probably buy from brands that I know already? Probably. Okay. So I know this is smack in the middle of wedding season too. Okay. So a lot of people may be concerned about that. And it's the same kind of advice we give during a Mercury retrograde. Check things 3 times. And hey, maybe you file your paperwork early if you want to, okay? If you're really concerned. Your wedding can be your wedding day, but your paperwork could be done sooner. So it would be before July 23rd, okay? But otherwise, just know that things may come up. Know that prices may change. Things may not be what you thought they were. So make sure you have really good contracts and that you've read things over really well. And anything that you can initiate before the 23rd of July would be helpful, and through till September 3rd, okay? So, yeah, so let's see, right now we have Pluto retrograde going on till January. We have Saturn retrograde going on till November. We have Uranus retrograde, which will begin in August. We have a Neptune retrograde that's been going on since June 30th. We have a Jupiter retrograde starting in September. And we have a Mercury retrograde starting in August. So wow, that is a lot of planets other than Mars. We're gonna have a lot of retrogrades going on at once, okay? So be open, take notes, journal, okay? All right. So what I think I'm going to do is I want to pull a couple theme cards for the month overall, okay? So let's just see. I'm working with a couple decks here. This is the Witch's Garden by Sasha Graham, such a favorite. So I'm going to pull 3 theme cards, one from the Witch's Garden, one from the Herb Crafters, that one went flying, So we will put that one on the table. And one from the lovely Pastoral Tarot, very French countryside. All right, so we're looking for themes here. We're looking for themes. We know we're in a month. Mostly the sun will be in the sign of Cancer. The planet Mercury is real close by the sun. Mercury in the sign of Cancer also, which is considered a psychic placement. So there's going to be a lot of nonverbal conversation going on. There's going to be a lot about feeling. There's going to be a lot coming in through our gut, through our body, through our intuition, right? And intuition, I was watching a video the other day of someone saying like intuition isn't just like airy-fairy and you feel like you're making something up or it's some kind of storyline. Intuition is a strong feeling, and sometimes it's not always what you want it to be, but you can feel it, and you want to pay attention to intuition so much this month, with always, but especially this month, with all this watery Cancer energy, with this planet of communication in this water sign, really close to the sun, how you're showing, how you show up in the world, the information being handed to you, but not always through logic, okay? So the other thing that I thought was interesting is I was thinking about the moon ruling the sign Cancer and what the moon really stands for. And so, like I said, when we follow astrology, we're following the moon's where it is every day. And so we know it affects us so much. So we're going to be extra sensitive. We're going to be able to be pulled in the right directions. And the moon, I think of that pull, look at the way it pulls on the tide. And so in astrology, we think of the moon ruling advertising, right? Because it pulls on people's emotion. This is a great time for you to be looking at the ways that you're advertising, especially during the Venus retrograde, looking at how you're spending your monies. If you're trying to promote yourself or your business, it's a good time to reflect on that, okay? So let's see what our theme cards here for the month are. I haven't looked at any of these yet. We've got the Ace of Wands. So an ace being a one, something new. She's holding this torch. She's got this snake wrapped around her wrist. Okay. And the home is in the background, and Cancer is all about the home, the comforts of the home. And so there's some new ideas here, some new passions. A Venus retrograde is a great time to plan something like a interior design, some change that you want to make in the home, or maybe even that you want to move. I wouldn't exactly do it during the retrograde, but I would plan it. Okay, so there's new ideas, new bold moves. Our second card is the Devil card. And in the Herb Crafters Tarot, this is called Blackberry. Okay. I love this card, and it's interesting that it's blackberry. You almost think of berries. It's so easy to mistake a berry for what would be poisonous and what wouldn't, especially if it's a new area that you're not used to. So the Devil card is asking us to look at our shadow, to look at the things that maybe we don't always want to deal with. And this is in a pie, in a really pleasing way. Okay. So it's almost like, let's not be afraid to look at our shadow. Let's not be afraid to look at some of the things that we haven't been able to deal with, because this is an appetizing situation. Okay. And the Devil card is ruled by the planet Saturn in tarot and astrology. So Saturn, which is in its retrograde period right now in the sign of Pisces, which is interesting. So we're kind of looking at these rules that we hold ourselves to. And in the sign of Pisces is such a karmic sign. And so releasing some of these old ways, the things that we have labeled as bad, or the things that we don't understand, okay? And this is a good time to look at those things. Our third card is the Judgment card. Interesting, looks like a baptism. Now, the Judgment card is card number 20. It's a Scorpio card. It's ruled by the planet Pluto. And so there's been this release. There's almost been this commitment, this release, almost being reborn, being cleared. So it's interesting that we start off with something new. The snake there on her arm, almost like it's a bold move, okay? To look at maybe some of these old belief systems, these old ways of being, and transforming them, okay? And I was also just feeling so much swimming with this weather, and here she is, baptized, committed, freed up, judgment, releasing. Okay, interesting theme cards. I'm going to leave these on the table during our pick a pile reading. And so what I want to do is break down the week by week. So again, I will repost these later, so don't worry. So we're going to start off our month with Monday, July 3rd. And July 3rd is the full Capricorn moon. So hopefully you have some moon water out already, and to soak up the rays of that moon and to absorb it into our bodies, okay? So the sun will be in Cancer, the moon will be in Capricorn. We want to think about maybe setting some goals for fall. Are you all work and no play? Because it's kind of both extremes, the work, the home, balancing it out, okay? Now, July 4th, the moon will be in Aquarius right after lunch. It's going to be conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation, the planet that rules this card. So there's going to be lots of fireworks, because as much as Pluto rules death and rebirth and letting go, it also rules sex. So there's going to be a lot of fireworks in the bedroom, is what I put on my weekly report. But don't fight with other people, especially your friends, because Aquarius rules friends and large groups of people. And it's definitely a feisty day, but it can also be a passionate day, all right? So the moon will remain in Aquarius on July 5th, and Venus is going to be opposite the moon. So sometimes when Venus is opposite the moon, it's sometimes hard to show up in relationships, okay? I know I have that placement in my chart. Sometimes it's hard to show up socially. There might be hesitance. You might want to retreat. But there's lots of opportunities for good times. So if you can kind of push past that a little bit, there could be a lot of fun on July 5th. July 6th, we are going to have the moon move into Pisces after lunch. So what are your rules for yourself regarding rest? What are your rules for yourself regarding creative time? So you want to rethink these. Pisces is a time of retreating, of resting. It's a great time to go to the ocean. And if you feel like staying home, do it. Recharge, release. Again, on Friday, we have the moon also in Pisces, and the moon is going to be trining Mercury, the planet of communication. And Mercury is in that watery sign of Cancer. So it's a really good day to journal, especially about like family stories, old things like that. There's definitely a theme there. It's a smoother day. There's a more easier energy on Friday. So do what pleases you, okay? The weekend, so it's a Pisces moon, and it's going to be conjunct Neptune, the planet that rules Pisces, and Neptune is currently in the sign of Pisces. So there's a lot of Pisces going on Saturday. So try to sleep in or just lounge a little on Saturday, whatever version of that you can do. Please do that on Saturday morning. Take advantage of it. Tons of creative energy. Then the moon is going to move into Aries around 3:20 on Saturday. So you're definitely going to get a lot done. So if you're worried about taking the rest time, don't worry, because Aries is a time it's ruled by Mars, and it wants to push ahead and it wants to get things done, okay? So especially earth-friendly matters. And I think that was because of its position. Oh, yeah, because we currently have another Eris, another new, I think it's more of a constellation. I'm still learning these things, so bear with me. It's been discovered more newly, another feminine planet, but definitely about a little bit more aggressive than the other two planets I was talking about. Eris is said to be the wife of Chiron, the wounded healer. And so the point being is that anything earth-friendly related over the weekend, yard work, things like that, okay? You're gonna be able to get a lot done from Saturday afternoon to Sunday, all right? So give yourself the rest time, you'll make up for it later. Now we move into the week of 7/10 to 7/16, and we are going to start off with the moon squaring not only Mercury, but Pluto. Okay, so like this kind of situation. Now, you want to watch your words because Mercury rules communication. It rules roadways, right? And Pluto wants to transform everything and likes to burn things up. So keep watch your mouth a little bit, okay? Keep things light, keep conversation light, and enjoy the summer. On Tuesday the 11th, the moon's gonna move, well, it's gonna move into Taurus on Monday, later on Monday. And so by Tuesday, we'll be full into a Taurus moon. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus rules all those beautiful things, and it hasn't retrograded yet. So this is a good time for you to shop. This is a good time for you to enjoy, Taurus is like dessert and shopping and jewelry and all those wonderful things. Or maybe it's just lounging and reading a book that you want and playing in your garden, okay? Those kind of things. Go ahead and enjoy. Keep conversation light, continuing that. Now, on Wednesday the 12th, we're going to have the moon square Mars and Venus. And so you can do what you want that day, but it's a better day to go a little bit solo. We're going to have 3 planets in Taurus. We've got the moon, Uranus, and Jupiter. And Taurus can be stubborn. It can be wonderful and lovely and beautiful, but it can definitely be stubborn. So maybe just do your own thing. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. On Thursday the 13th, the moon will move into Gemini. We still have a square going with Mars, Venus, and Saturn. So it's pretty intense. Be adaptable. Don't try to win. Solo is a better choice if you can. Just know that Thursday the 13th is pretty intense. But thank goodness Friday the 14th lightens up a lot, okay? It's a much lighter day, and just enjoy the beauty, enjoy the relief, have a good time. On the 14th, the moon will be in Gemini. Gemini is such a social sign. Great night to get out and about and enjoy your friends. And then we move into a Cancer weekend. So the moon will move into Cancer. So we got the sun opposite Pluto, planet of transformation. We've got the moon square Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion. So I wrote down, it's easy to cater to others because we're always waiting on people. Easy to cater to others, but make sure that you're caring for your own well-being too, okay? There's a lot of fun summer energy, but don't end up cooking for everybody and washing all the dishes too, okay? So make sure you're caring for your well-being. Make sure that you get to go float in the water. Make sure that your needs are being taken care of, okay? This is the week that Mars moves into the sign of Virgo. So this is a great week to start thinking ahead. I know for myself, like I want to have a schedule for September. I want to have a more clear outline so I can fit in all these things I want to do. So as Mars moves into Virgo, I'm going to start jotting down that schedule. And I'm not going to necessarily commit to it yet because it's summer and I want to do what I want to do. But I'll start to think about what that schedule will feel like for the fall, okay? Mercury is going to move out of the sign of Cancer and move into the fiery sign of Leo. So that's a good time to tell someone you love them, okay? But not during the Venus retrograde. All right, now 7/17 through 7/23, okay? Now, this is the week that Venus retrograde starts. That's going to be on Sunday, okay? So get your shopping done, get your major purchases done, anything love related. If you have some things you need to say, this might be the time before the retrograde starts, okay? Now, this is the month that the nodes of the moon change signs. So the north node is going to move into the sign of Aries. North node is about like dharma, what we came here to do. And the south node, the cup that holds everything that's happened to us, moves into the sign of Libra. It's kind of a big deal. They change signs about every 18 months. So this is interesting, okay? So we start off the week, Monday the 17th, we're going into the Cancer new moon. So this is a super watery, intuitive time, okay? I just want to pull up the 17th on my computer here. So we're going to have the sun and the moon both at 24 degrees of Cancer, and it's going to be opposite Pluto, okay? So opposite Pluto that wants to help us transform, and Cancer being all these themes of self-care. So how can we transform them? How can we bring in what we need? How can we make better decisions? How can we listen to our body more? Okay, these are some of the subjects. So we're going to move into, this is a great time to be planting seeds, planting ideas, right? Taking some downtime, taking some rest, because Cancer is all about the home and the resting. So 17th, I would do something wonderful for yourself, like spend some time in the home, or spend some time in a vacation home, or maybe get a massage or do something lovely. Maybe just sit by some water, okay? Now, Tuesday the 18th, the moon will move into Leo. Life is your stage. Step up. Moon will be conjunct Mercury and opposite Pluto. So it will be close to the planet of communication and opposite the planet of transformation. Okay. So on Wednesday the 19th, we continue with the moon in Leo. The moon will continue to be conjunct Mercury. It is forming a square with Jupiter and Uranus. So there's a little frictional activity there. Plans might change. Uranus is making a square. Uranus is not known to be predictable. It is known to be predictably unpredictable. So don't get too stubborn about wanting things a certain way on the 19th, because you won't get your way. Uranus will always get its way, okay? There can be helpful friends, there can be helpful information, there can be bright ideas, but just go with the flow. Thursday the 20th, the moon will move into Virgo by right after lunch. And so as much as we're smack in the middle of summer here, don't forget your responsibilities, because we've got the moon and together with Mars and Venus, and it's opposite Saturn. So Mars and Venus are like, let's go, let's play, let's go have summer fun. And Saturn's like, hey, don't forget your responsibilities, okay? Friday the 21st, the moon will still be in Virgo. It's a little smoother day, easy to get things done. Virgo loves organization, rearranging, loves to be of service to others, themes of health and wellness. So just do what you need to do, and with a little bit more easy energy, okay? The sun's going to move into the sign of Leo, the heart-based, fiery sign of Leo on Saturday the 22nd. We're going to have 3 planets in Leo: the sun, Mercury, the planet of communication, and Venus, ruling all those beautiful things. So Venus retrograde until September 3rd. Chiron retrograde begins. We're just going to start moving into all these retrogrades. So get that journal out and just start writing some things down and observe, okay? Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, and enjoy summer. The week of July 24th through July 30th. And we start off the week with the moon moving into the sign of Libra, our air sign. And remember, I said earlier, there's not a lot of planets in air. So great. The moon's going to be in this air sign, this playful air sign. And Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. Venus is in its retrograde, okay? So we might feel a strong urge to transform our personal appearance, right? So the sun is going to be opposite Pluto. That's all about transformation, and especially our hair, because the sun is going to be in the sign of Leo, and Leo has a lot to do with your mane. So I would say make a Pinterest board, make plans, get ideas, but I would wait to make the big change, okay? Wait till after the 3rd of September when Venus goes direct. So on Tuesday, July 25th, the moon will move into Scorpio. And the moon's going to be square Pluto. And Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio, okay? It's easy to feel emotional. Slow down. Scorpio likes to rest and take things very precisely, okay? The moon will continue to be in Scorpio on the 26th. It's going to be a little less emotional on the 26th, a little bit more practical. And it's an easy day to get monies that are owed to you. Okay, Pluto rules other people's money. If someone owes you money, this is a good day to reach out to get it. July 26th. Venus is in retrograde, but I still think it's a great day to ask for that. Okay, bill people out. Thursday, July 27th, the moon is going to be in Scorpio until about 8:30 at night. This is all Eastern Standard Time. The moon's going to be square Mercury and Venus. And so we might just want to lay low and keep it simple. Just keep one foot in front of the other. By evening, we're going to get that Sagittarius energy moving. And Sagittarius likes to go and do and see, right? So this is a great time to plan a trip, start the plans, maybe just thinking about where you want to go, or design an idea, okay? But just in the blueprint stage. On Friday, the 28th, Mercury is going to move into the sign of Virgo. Mercury, the planet of communication, moving into its own sign of Virgo. Okay, now Virgo can be nitpicky. You have to be very careful if you have Mercury and Virgo in your birth chart, or while Mercury is in the sign of Virgo, not to be too hard on yourself, okay? Especially when you're looking in the mirror. You can make plans, you can make your schedule for fall. You can make healthy choices for yourself, right? Venus retrograde, your relationship with yourself, what needs to shift, but there is nothing good going to come out of beating yourself up, okay? So Friday the 28th, the moon will be in Sagittarius, square Mars and Saturn. Focus on being kind and gentle to yourself, okay? It's going to be a Sagittarius Saturday. Go have fun. Don't let emotions run the show. And Sunday is going to be a Capricorn moon, and there's lots of trines going on. So go enjoy the life you've created. Capricorn is your long-term success, the foundation of your life, what you have built. Go enjoy it. Now, move. Oh, that's the last. That's it. That's July. We'll put the 31st into the next month's report. So yeah, I'm excited about July. I think there's a lot of good stuff going on. August is going to be really interesting with all these retrograde periods. So enjoy the lightness of July while you can, okay? So we are going to move over into our pick a pile reading. And interesting, you know, I was thinking about what I wanted to use for the pick a piles. And I use my pendulum to choose decks, and I was asking which deck wants to be used. And it took me a while. I wanted something watery. And finally, it showed up as the Impressionist Tarot deck, which has a lot of art in it. And as I was picking some cards out, I noticed that I was picking all Monet cards because they're very watery. And I thought to myself, I wonder if Monet is a Cancer, since he had so much watery kind of pictures. And it feels like, I think it's watercolors. I don't know the first thing about art, but I think that it's watercolors. And so I looked up his chart, and he's actually a Scorpio sun, but he's a Cancer moon. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and how I was really pulled to him. So I have some of his artwork. I guess this deck they've modified a little bit, but it's based on some of his original pieces. So for pile number 1, we have this beautiful picture, the 2 of Cups. For pile number 2, we actually, I believe this is the Sun card. And for pile number 3 is this beautiful 10 of Cups, okay? So kind of on this theme of Cancer season. So go ahead, whichever pile jumped out to you first, don't overthink it. Pick your pile. Let's get started. Pile number 1, this beautiful card from the Impressionist Tarot. This is a Monet reference, and it's referencing from his painting The Walkers, 1865. Okay, so I'm just going to read you this little quote. It says, "People discuss my art and pretend to understand it, as if it were necessary to understand, when it's simply necessary to love." Interesting. So the Two of Cups here, relationship card. Okay, Two of Emotion, very much representing Cancer season. Okay, so I kept the cards on the table from the opening reading where we pulled the Ace of Wands here, some fresh new ideas, bold moves. We pulled the Devil card here, looking at some of our old viewpoints, old beliefs, and our Judgment card, which is really about freedom, being cleared. Okay, so let's see what you need to know. Okay, this month of July, I haven't looked at any of these cards yet, and let's see what you need to know. And this one's jumping out. And we have the Two of Pentacles from the Witch's Garden. So here's your second two. And so there's a back and forth, right? She's trying to balance this. And sometimes with the Two of Pentacles, we just need to make a decision, okay? You can go back and forth. It's the infinity loop. It can be an endless back and forth, okay? Everything's kind of up in the air. And there's a need to get grounded here, okay? Especially if you're making a choice in some kind of relationship, all right? Let's see what the heart of the matter is. The heart of the matter, we have the King of Pentacles, also from the Witch's Garden. Interesting card. So he is definitely looking like a god here. He's got all this to offer. Very muscular, almost reminds me of the Devil card. So there's something here, the heart of the matter. There's something here about value. You got two Earth cards, two Pentacle cards. All the finer things of life, all the things that work hard for, you know, this person is very fit, works hard for it. And so there's a desire for that groundedness, for that lifestyle. Supporting the heart of the matter, we have the Emperor card. That's interesting because I almost thought that this was the Emperor when I first looked at him. That deck's a little new to me. This is the Emperor in the Herb Crafters, and this is hemlock, which I do think is poisonous. And so the Emperor is in a position of power. The Emperor is ruled by Mars, so he makes a move, right? He has to think about the effect of his decisions for the whole empire, really. And so there's a plan in place here. It looks like this has been very intricately designed. There's a plan in place. The foundation of this reading is the Mother of Fire, Madre of Fire, or Time, from the Herb Crafters, okay? And she's got her potions and her brews. This is the Queen of Wands, traditionally. The Queen of Wands wants freedom, okay? She wants to live her lifestyle. She's got time there. She's working it with her mortar and pestle. Time, you know, when I named Tarot and Time, using time represents truth. And so there's something here about the truth, about making a decision. Looks like it's in regards to some kind of relationship. Looks like there's a desire in the heart for things, long-term success, stability. There's decisions that have to be made. You're in a position to have to make them. Even if you don't want to, they need to be made. So get your recipe book out, get your plans made, and start taking action. Behind the scenes, it's a Two of Cups, which is the same card that you chose for your pick a pile. Two of Cups. This is behind the scenes. It looks like there is some kind of, it looks like a wedding, really. Okay. it just seems basically like there's a relationship here. Maybe you're considering leaving it. Maybe you're considering staying. A decision has to be made. A decision was made in the past. There was a commitment back here. Along with the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is a Sagittarius card. This is the wheel pumping forward. There's a lot of power here. This is in the background. Let's see what we're moving into the future position. We have the Eight of Wands. And there's that mother Docker, whoever she is, Goose, leading all the little ones forward. Okay, Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is like, to me, it's a card of freedom. I know, like, classically it was called the honeymoon card, but that's about going, right? Taking off. And so she's on her path. She's a solo parent. And here's the Six of Pentacles. The scales of justice. There's a financial exchange going on. I mean, honestly, this reading just basically looks like if you're deciding to leave a relationship or not, it looks like there's some kind of new contract being entered into, some kind of legal contract or some kind of financial exchange. If this is not for you about love, this could also be a relationship, a work relationship, although it has heavy energy of love. But it could be work related or it could be friend related, but there obviously there was a commitment. There's a lot of power there. And it looks like now that there's a move that has to be made. There's a solo move. I mean, there may be a lot of others coming with you. There may be children involved. There may be other like employees involved. But I do see you moving ahead, and I do not see you with another adult. I do see that there's a financial exchange going on, and I get the impression that you're in the power seat. You may not think that you are, but you actually are. And so don't let anyone take from you what is yours, okay? Especially during this Venus retrograde. So if this is a legal contract, please try to get to the bottom of that before we go into the retrograde towards the end of the month, okay? I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards for you. This is from the Relative Tarot, and let's see what we have for you. Brazenness. I love that that was somebody's relative. I love how Carrie Paris had her fans send in pictures of their relatives. Brazenness, okay? This is a bold move. Remember the first card I said when I pulled for everyone? Bold move. And the home's in the background. Delusion. Okay. I know there was we saw some Neptune stuff going on. So please, in this card I placed right over this financial exchange. So please do not be clouded in getting what is yours, okay? Don't let someone smooth talk you into thinking that you're gonna get something that doesn't show up, okay? So I'm gonna pull one more in regard to that, because that's the one. Mischief. Okay, I get kind of the feeling that someone's trying to I'm almost getting like you're being schmoozed, and really underneath that, there's a game being played. So just take some time and don't settle for anything less than what you deserve, okay? I'm gonna roll some dice for you. I've got a whole bunch of dice here. I'm gonna start off with my standard dice on top of this reading. I lost one of the cards down here. It was the Queen of Wands. She wanted to take off, but she needs to come back, and she needs to keep working her magic. Okay, so these dice are in regards to this reading I just gave you. Anything else you need to know? And you've got Mercury, the planet of communication, in the sign of Leo in the 4th house, okay? So This is you speaking up for what you want, what is rightfully yours in the 4th house regarding the home, around what's going on in the home, okay? I think that all kind of came together. I hope that you felt connected with that too. Now I'm going to move over to the calendar, and I'm going to throw some more dice onto the calendar. Any dates, any signs, anything else that you need to be aware of this month. I'm going to throw that one back on. Okay. Now I'm using some new dice here, so I might have to look it up a little bit, but we got the number 7 and it landed on the 2nd. Okay. Now 7 in astrology would be Libra, would be a sign of relationships. And that's what this says, relationships and partnerships. So that's the first number to come up. It landed on the 2nd of July. We had a lot of 2 of Cups going on there, a lot of relationship themes. Okay. Then on the 4th of July, we got the moon, and it says waxing crescent. So let's see what a waxing crescent is all about. It says moving towards your goals, okay? Moving towards your goals on Independence Day. Interesting. And the Queen of Wands here, the independent Queen of Wands, she tried to run off the table, right? But she's back. Now, the 13th and the 14th of July, we have what looks like the sign of Cancer. Let me just see here what this says. No, that's not Cancer. It's actually Pisces. And it says creativity and intuition on the 13th and 14th. And then on the 15th, we had the moon. So there is a lot of watery intuition, creativity going on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And you're going to want to listen to what your body is telling you, okay? So where you're feeling stressed, where your gut says something's off, please trust it. Trust it always, but especially in the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Now on the 20th, we have a symbol that looks like it's for air. Let's see what that is. Do I see it? Well, do I see it? Air? No. Yes, air. Intelligence igniting change. Interesting. And then on the 28th, you have another dice, and it has 8 stars on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stars. And your 8 stars say success and achieving goals. So I really get the impression that you can be successful here if you stick to your independent nature that doesn't always want to show itself, but it needs to, okay? Stick to the plan, to the recipe. Do not settle for less. Follow your intuition. And it looks to me that you can be very successful by the end of the month. Okay? Thank you for joining me. Pile number 2. This beautiful version of Monet. This is the Sun card in tarot. And this is a version of his painting, Impression Sunrise. And a little quote here says, "The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding." Okay, and so here they are, 2 people in this boat, understanding each other. The sun definitely shines light on things. All right, so let's see what you need to know this month of July. Now, remember, I have these theme cards out from the opening when we picked some cards. And the first one was the Ace of Wands, this bold move, new ideas, bold move. The Devil card, Blackberry here, to really taking a look at our beliefs and what we're holding on to and maybe shining a new light on it. And the Judgment card, transformation and change, okay? So, I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. Let's see. Oh, this one's flying out. This one wants to be the first one. So we have the Lovers. This is from the Witch's Garden. It So you definitely have some themes here. Pile number 1 was all about relationship. Pile number 2, starting off with these 2 people in a boat and the Lovers card, okay? So the Lovers card, yes, it's definitely about relationships. I mean, we can't deny that. But it's really about choices. This is Gemini. So we know, love takes up years of our lives. Right before we know it, time just flies by. And so the Lovers here to really make some good choices for ourselves, to take the deep breath before jumping in, okay? So that is our first card, card number 6. And let's see what we have going on in the heart of the matter. So the heart of the matter, we have 5 of fire, black cohosh. And this is a 5, a number of change. And it's 5 of fire, 5 of dynamic change. I'm actually going to look it up in this book because I know black cohosh, but I don't really know black cohosh. It says here, anger is sacred, burn through the slumber of helplessness and complacency. Resist. Women's rage is a force that will change the world. Interesting. So honor the fire that rises up. Don't deny your anger. It says that though the survival of black cohosh is threatened by loss of habitat, it remains an important medicinal. So it teaches us the power of our own creative source. It says, rattle like a snake and shed your skin. Wow. So that's the heart of the matter, okay? Speaking up, saying your piece, finding your place, supporting the heart of the matter. We have the Ace of Pentacles. From this lovely pastoral tarot. Ace, something new, Pentacles, earthy. Here's this cat sitting on this wheel and it's all overgrown. It's just there. It's just looking right at us. There's beauty everywhere. And so this is supporting the heart of the matter to make change, right? And the Ace is Pentacles is kind of like, maybe it's been something that's been there a while. It's overgrown. Maybe there's a change. Maybe you need to speak up about something, okay? Again, keeping in mind before the Venus retrograde, if you're going to speak up. Otherwise, you're going to observe during that period till September 3rd. Foundation of the matter is the Page of Swords. It's really on point. Page is young energy and going right for it, okay? So you may know exactly what needs to be said. Just don't point towards the heart too hard. Don't hurt people with your words. Behind the scenes, we have the World card. What a beautiful World card. Such fun, such freedom. So this is behind the scenes, and the World card is the last major arcana. It's kind of the end of a story. But there's a beautiful story here, and there's a freedom here. It's in the background. You may be craving that. Along with the Empress. She's looking very pregnant, but all these things of beauty around her. So, it may be, if you're a woman, maybe you've just been pregnant and you feel like you don't have your freedom. There's something here about something in a relationship, whether it be love, friendship, work related. There's something here like that you've been held to it. Maybe some of it is because you've been giving birth to children, or maybe you've been giving birth to a business or giving birth to an idea. But there's something here now where you're in, like you weren't in a state before where you could take action, but now you're in a state to make the change that needs to be made, okay? And in the future position, we have the Three of Air, Echinacea. Echinacea, like, I always think of Echinacea as like that misunderstood plant that, like, I remember everybody thought it was good for immunity, and then there was all these people speaking out against it saying, no, it doesn't. And I think it really does. Three of Air, Three of Swords. Okay, so maybe being careful with your words. That's what came up before. There can be a lot of misunderstanding. And you want to be careful that you don't burn your bridges. And here's the Nine of Pentacles. She's got like her messenger bird there, right? So be careful about the messages that you're sending. Make sure that you've really thought them through and thought them out. I'm going to pull a few more cards for some clarity. There's the Devil card falling out. Okay. So the Devil card showed up again. This is the Lovers down here in front of them. And so we had that earlier. We had this Blackberry Pie version. So the Devil, you know, it wants you to look at all the things that you're afraid of, all the things you're ashamed of, all the dysfunction, all your dysfunctional relationships, okay? That's what's coming up here. Then there's the Six of Wands, triumphant, wanting freedom. And the Hierophant, who has the wisdom and the knowledge to make the proper change. So you're not going to make the proper change by just mouthing off and saying things off the cuff. There's something that's been building, that's been going on for a while. You probably know exactly what it is, and you may have been biding your time to speak up, but you have to be careful that you're not going to just hurt things or upset your way of living right now. There's some responsibility that needs to be taken on your part too in the relationship. This is like almost like a pattern of behavior that us humans can so get into. This may not be the first time that it's come down to these matters for you, but this is a great time to break through it. These are oracle cards. I'm going to pull a couple. Martyrdom. Okay. Kind of giving up yourself for others causes. Thin ice. And conflict. Okay. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't speak up, because I think you should. I just think you have to choose your words really wisely, or it's almost like you have a lot to lose. And I'm not saying to stay in something because you have a lot to lose, but I'm saying plan it wisely. There's the Hospitality card, and he's cheering you. Okay, he's also drinking alcohol. And so you don't want to just get into a conflict because your words got loose and you just said things and then you have repercussions. You want to plan. And maybe you need to take this Mercury or Venus retrograde period to really look at what's going on in this relationship. Let's see. This Five of Wands has come up again. This one, they're like eating worms and fighting over worms. It almost looks like spaghetti. But you got the Five of Wands twice, and it came up in the heart of the matter, and it came up as anything else that I need to say here. And Five of Wands can be conflict, and you don't need conflict. That will continue the cycle of what I see has already been happening. These situations end in conflict, and then the pattern repeats. This needs to be dealt with differently. Okay, this is asking you to really take a look at who you are, to really take a look at the armor that you've had up. Maybe you haven't really opened your heart in this situation. You're being asked to look at the full picture. You're being asked to look at what you're bringing to the table and to really take a look at it. And maybe it's time for you to go to therapy to help break this cycle. But this cycle needs to be broken, but this cycle does not need to destroy other people in the process. And I'm really concerned that your words could do that, and then it could just repeat the cycle. So my best advice for you is to pause, to wait, not even to wait, but to kind of plan what it is that you're going to do so that you can break the cycle and not just continue the same thing. Okay? You're ready to do this. This is your karmic responsibility to do this, or it will continue repeating until you finally are ready. But I think that you are ready now. Pluto, Pisces, 9th house. Pluto, when it's not dealt with properly, will just go in and destroy things, right? Scorpio energy. Pisces is karmic. 9th house is the house of freedom. It's Sagittarius's house. So you have an opportunity right now to clear up a lot of karma and to free yourself. Okay, to take responsibility for your role in the matter, especially if this has been a few relationships in a row like this similar behavior, and to transform it and to release it and to be able to move up to a higher level, if that makes any sense. Okay, I'm just going to pull you a couple more. If this is handled in the highest and best way, what is the possible outcome? Conscientious and popularity. Conscientious, doing the cleanup work, not just being the martyr, because this feels very Virgo, right? Virgo can be the martyr, can give themselves up for the cause, but conscientious is a healthy side of Virgo, right? And popularity. Interesting. You'll attract more higher vibe people when you break this cycle. Okay. All right. So let's look at this calendar. Let's see what we get. I'm going to roll some more dice here and some dates and see what you need to know. I'm going to rethrow that one on and rethrow that one on. Okay. So on the 4th of July, we have the symbol for a sword. And I'm still learning these dice, so bear with me here. The sword, personal beliefs and ambition. Air energy. So you want to be careful with your words on the 4th of July. You really do, especially if there's alcohol involved. Okay? You don't want this to turn into a war. You want to speak your mind, help yourself, help the other person involved, but help yourself mostly, but not causing unnecessary pain. Saturday the 8th. I have a very weird symbol here that I have no idea what it is. Let's see what we got here. Is this Leo? This is a symbol for Leo. Inner strength, confidence. Okay? When you have inner strength, when you're confident, you don't need to be aggressive. Okay? And the 5 of Wands came up a few times, and that can just be fighting. Now, on the 15th of July, we have the number 9. Number 9 is Sagittarius's house, and it comes up as travel and personal beliefs. To me, that's a house of freedom and being free of old belief systems. Now, on the 16th of July, we rolled the full moon, which I don't think it is the full moon, but that's the energy that is there for you. And the energy of the full moon is celebrating achievements and reflection. So on the 16th, a big day for you. And between the 18th and 19th, we have one big star. And it says, where's the one big star? Independence and determination between the 18th and the 19th. And over here at the end of the month, more towards the 2nd of August, we have the symbol for Pluto. And it's interesting because you had the symbol for Pluto over here too. Okay, so there's a really big theme of transformation and change, rebirth, transformation. Now remember, this was one of the cards that came up in the beginning. This is Pluto. Okay, she sees the light. She's made a commitment. She's moving forward. She's changing her life. And I think you're ready. Thank you for joining me. Pile number 3. This beautiful 10 of Cups version of a Monet painting. And I'm going to use my little cheat book here and tell you what it says. 10 of Cups. So it's taken from his painting Bridge Over a Pond of Water Lilies. And this is a version of it. And here's a quote for you. I am very happy, very delighted. I am surrounded here by all that I love. I spend my time out of doors, and then in the evening, dear fellow, I come home to my little cottage to find a good fire and a dear little family. So the 10 of Cups here, this happy family card, as it's often called, 10 of emotion. And okay, let's see what you need to know this month ahead. I have a bunch of cards here. I haven't looked at any of them yet. And let's talk about you this month. So we're starting off with the 5 of Earth, Slippery Elm. Now, Slippery Elm is like one of my favorite. I love throat coat tea. It's so soothing. It's so sweet naturally. And so here's 5 of Earth. 5, a number of change. Earth, Pentacles, something of value. But there's a change, but there's a sweetness to it. Okay? Something with growing something in the home in the background. Okay, let's see what the heart of the matter is. And we've got another 5, 5 of Wands. Change of passion. Sometimes the 5 of Wands can almost be like fighting. Okay, there's something there, the heart of the matter. They're button heads here. And so 2 5s in a row, which equal 10, and the 10 was 10 of Cups at the top. Interesting. All right, let's see what's supporting the heart of the matter. We have the Hanged Man, and he actually came in reverse. So he would be normally like this, came in like this. Okay, this is a Pisces card. This is when the universe has you by the foot, okay? And I love how this like beaver is like looking at you. Almost looks like a snake tangle, but it's vines. Okay, so there's a need to pause, to reflect. This is asking you to look at things from a different perspective. There's the energy of resting, because you got a lot of change going on here. All right, here's your foundation card. 7 of Cups. All these choices, right? All these things. 7 is our number this year. 2023 equals 7. It's a lot of possibilities, a lot of emotion. Almost like she's not sure which one to choose. Okay, but there's a need for a pause. Behind the scenes, we have the Justice card. Scales of Justice, Libra. Looks like a beautiful farm stand. It says, take what you need, pay what you can. That's lovely. It's coming in the background next to the 5 of Wands. Almost maybe things haven't been, maybe there's been, maybe it hasn't been as easy as that. Maybe it hasn't been as easy as maybe it hasn't been balanced enough. Maybe there's been some contention. There's the Fool card. So in the background, you have 2 major arcanas, major secret cards. Okay. Justice, balance, Venus related, relationship related, contracts related to the law, and the Fool, a new journey. Okay, coming in next to the Hanged Man. So a lot of major arcanas. Let's see what else we've got going on here in the future position. Another major arcana, the Hermit. I don't know this plant. Usnea. Let me just look that up briefly. We know the Hermit is your inner guide. We know that the Hermit is the Fool grown up. There's definitely been maturity here. This says, withdraw into sacred solitude, gather treasures from the darkness, emerge with the light. So go within. Usnea, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, is also called old man's beard, and it grows long and healthy on trees where the air is clean. Find your mountain, ask for guidance from nature. Interesting that It grows long and healthy on trees. And this is like a vine here holding you. So there's a lot of asking you to go within. The Hanged Man there and the Hermit. Let's see what our last card is here. The Nine of Cups. Okay, so there's like this genie's coming out. There's this offer being made to you, but it's only through the inner journey. So what I've got so far is starting off with the Ten of Cups, which seems like the happy family, a lot of emotion card. Then your first card that came up was the Five of Earth, okay? Five of Earth, talking about change. It was Slippery Elm. This says, soothe the pain of those in need. Even the wounded can heal. You have the skills it takes to survive any crisis, okay? This can sometimes be economic hardships, but you're growing something here, okay? The Five of Wands, it's almost like everyone wants to be in charge. A lot of butting heads. The Hanged Man, you may feel frustrated, not able to move forward. It's okay. You're being held here for a reason. You need to look at it a little differently. It's asking you to go in, to meditate, to take the calm, almost like closing the eyes and not just all about the visual, right? Going in, connecting. The Seven of Cups, kind of having the patience to wait, to be guided, to be shown which choice is the right one, which certainly is nice to have choices. Behind the scenes, there's this justice and this idea of like perfect balance and everyone following these beautiful rules, and that's not necessarily the case. And here's the Fool card. You may feel foolish about that, but the Fool is divinely guided and deeply blessed. And when you move into your future position, you see a maturity here, okay? There's a maturity, but it's asking you to take inward time. It's asking you to connect to your higher power. And then the blessings show up, okay? And the choice is clear to you. I'm going to pull a couple more just in case I missed anything here. We got the Sun card. Okay, so this is visibility, seeing. This is almost like a mirror image, which is interesting. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, there's really strong presence. Knight of Pentacles, questing after what it is value. If there's been some financial hardships, it looks like that will ease up. If you felt solo in this journey, it looks like there's help on the way. And then we have the Eight of Wands. There's a lot going on. Okay, but this is a card of success and freedom. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm going to pull a few oracle cards to help us a little bit more here. This is from the Relative Tarot. Communication. Bohemian. Camouflage. Okay, so what I'm getting is, well, communication card is definitely important for you to express what's going on, even the fact that you might not know which way to go. But I think this is asking you to communicate higher, to communicate with your guides, to communicate with your ancestors, to communicate with your higher self. And that is what I'm seeing is you're only going to get through meditation. Okay. Bohemian, like she's just pretty chill. She's looking good. Okay. She's relaxed into it. Camouflage, I don't really understand. We got a clarifying card on camouflage. Spirit. Might be afraid to connect. But you don't need to be. I feel like I'm missing something here, so I'm just going to pull you a couple more. So basically, when I was asking for some clarity, I wasn't sure if this was all making sense. I hope you're connecting to something here. The Chariot card comes out. And Chariot is about overcoming obstacles and moving forward and not just wallowing into our emotions. Okay, this is Cancer. This is now. This is the moon. This is intuition. And it's pulling us forward. And we may be pulled in two different directions. And we may not know which way to go. But that's okay. We're being asked to sit in meditation, to reflect, and that it will be shown to you. Okay? There's a Seven of Swords. There's kind of like this almost like taking off, getting away from people, going to do your own thing. Not like, almost like thinking differently and not feeling part of the group. And then there's a Judgment card here, which this is the second time Judgment is showing up, because remember it showed up in the original first reading here. So there's a freedom here. Okay, so I feel like if there's things that you think people aren't telling you, if there's information that you feel that isn't being shared with you, if you feel a sense of like uneasiness or like mistrust, that's what I'm seeing. But I'm also seeing that you're going to see loud and clear very soon. And I think it's going to be, it kind of looks like a happy family again at the bottom. Okay. So I do think that this is all going to work itself out. But some of these idealistic ways of thinking are changing now. And there's a need for you, like there's almost like a lot of desire for community or things to work with others or to be a team. And really this is asking you to go within and be your own best partner. Okay. It's entertainment. So I was asking kind of like where it's moving towards, and there is some joy there. Okay. All right, let's roll some dice to finalize this reading here. And you got Uranus, Cancer, and the 11th house. The 11th house is owned by Uranus. Okay, so Uranus rules the sign Aquarius. Uranus is the lightning bolt of change. Uranus is divine insight. Uranus is helpful friends, even if they're strangers, okay? Right information at the right time. In the sign of Cancer, which is the nurturing, intuitive, the moon energy, right? And we're in Cancer season. And the 11th house of Uranus's house, the house of large groups of people, expansion. And, you know, it was interesting because when I pulled up this when Monet showed up today, because I felt like Monet just showed up today. And I was wondering if he was a Cancer, and he actually is a Cancer moon. And when I was reading about him, one of the things that it said was his popularity soared in the second half of the 20th century when his works traveled the world in museum exhibitions that attracted record-breaking crowds and marketed popular commercial items featuring imagery from his art. So that's what I just got from this dice, is that things may not be going the way that you kind of had idealistic viewpoints about some things. You may have jumped into something and maybe it's not growing the way that you wanted it to. And maybe you're not feeling clarity right now, but you rolled all this Aquarius energy, and record-breaking crowds is the 11th house. It's large groups of people. Record-breaking crowds. And so I'm feeling for you that you don't even know what is going to begin to happen for you. Large groups of people. There's things happening, helpful friends. Things are going to start to open up. But what you're being asked to do right now is to go within, to accept the delays, which I know isn't fun, but to accept the delays because it's being delayed for a reason, and the things are going to start to really open for you. Okay. Now, I'm going to roll a few dice here on this calendar to get a few days, any signs, anything else that you need to know. Throw that thing back on. Okay, so your first dice landed between the 12th and the 13th, and it's number 9. And number 9 is that Hermit card, okay? So you might want to read a little bit more about the Hermit. Number 9 is also Sagittarius's house, and it's about travel. This says travel and personal beliefs. I think it's a house of freedom. okay? And being freed from old ways of thinking, from dogma. Now, on the 18th and 19th, you have a lot of energy, and you've got a waxing crescent moon, the dice of the waxing crescent moon, which says moving towards your goals. And the 19th, you got the symbol for a pentacle, finances and feeling supported. So you got some really great energy there on the 18th and 19th of July. You've also got a lot of energy on the 27th. We've got the symbol for Neptune, which is creativity. I think of it as retreating, resting, relaxing, contemplating, and clearing up old karma. This says psychic abilities and intuition, so that too. And then you've got 5 stars on your next dice that also landed around the 27th and the 28th. And the 5 stars are symbolized, let's see here, by adventure and seeking something new. You did have a bunch of 5s here, so there's something new coming in. Now, towards the end of the month, right really around August 1st, it looks like you got the symbol for Aries, which is leadership and moving forward, okay? So I do think things are going to start to shift for you, but you need to accept the divine delay that you're in right now, and then things are really going to begin to open up. So thank you so much for joining me.